Read everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so tonight's Zera Shimshon Shiur is sponsored by Reb David, Lila Nishmas' father, Harav Eliezer ben Chaim Yitzchak Olav Shalom, Zivug Nochain V'Hogain for Rivka Tziro Bas Idula Menucha, and Rivka Riko Bas Batsheva. Lila Nishmas, Esther Bas Reb Avram Olav Shalom, Yeshua Zebesuras Toivus, Achenu Kol Beis Yisrael, Shalom Kol Yisrael, and for a little girl who is about 2 weeks old, Ariella Bas Sarah Zelda. She should have her for Shalema. Okay, Meir Rabbeisai. Zera Shimshon Parshas Korach. Let's do letter Yud, which is on page Reish Beis. V'hoilach meheira el ha'eda. Go quickly to the nation. V'chiper aleihem. Let's do the background. The story in this week's parsha, of course, is the unfortunate story of Korach. Korach, Dasam Vaviram, who waged a revolt, a revolution against Moshe, against Aharon, trying to undermine everything that was good in Klal Yisrael. Unfortunately, they were slightly successful in the sense that it was able to get 250 people to follow, 250 people to side with them, and eventually the only way to defuse it was HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to vatiftach haaretz es piyah. They didn't do tshuva, they weren't ready to listen, and it had to end tragically. Now, the Torah Kedosha says that on the next day, and I'm picking it up, Vayiloinu kol adas b'nei Yisrael memochres al Moshe v'Aaron leimer atem emisim es am Hashem. There was, Klal Yisrael became fartainet and had complaints against Moshe v'Aaron acting with excessive brute, too much ki'ilu, too much did Moshe v'Aaron give. Moshe gave an eighth of the Torah, and that ultimately killed these 250 people, and now there was a taina, Klal Yisrael was for a taina, which caused HaKadosh Baruch Hu to say, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Heirimu mitoich ha'eda v'achal ha'oisam kirega. The Rebbeinu Shalom was ready. Unfortunately, Klal Yisrael had brought themselves to a position where the Rebbeinu Shalom said, enough, enough. And a magefa began. Vayomer Moshe el Aharon, kach es hamachta, take a fire pan, tein oleh eish mal hamizbeach, take the ketores, and be mechaper on Bnei Yisrael. And he says to him, V'hoilach meheira, go quickly, go fast. Aaron followed, Aaron listened. Vayikach Aaron kasher diber Moshe, vayoretz otoich hakol, vayamod ben amesim v'machayim v'teotzar magefa, and he stopped. As Rashi brings down the Medrash, he literally grabbed a hold of the Malach HaMavis and stopped the Malach HaMavis from killing more Jews. In total, 14,700 people passed away. 14,700 people were nifter. Milvad ha-mesim al dvar Korach, besides for the mesim al dvar Korach. Our Zera Shimshon focuses on the conversation between Moshe and Aharon, the instructions that Moshe Rabbeinu gives to Aharon, and we pick up with the Zera Shimshon. V'hoilach meheira el ha'eda v'chiper aleihem. Go quickly. Simple question. Every Hatzalas Nefashos requires going quickly. That's what Hatzalah members do. We have Mayor Baruch Hashem over here, who's a Hatzalah member for 20 years already. Vilan, Kenai Nahara, saving Yidden for so many years. It's our schus. He runs the show. Baruch Hashem. So it's such Every Atzolim, right? There's where is it? Where's the red? There it is. You see, here it is, Rabbi Say. This is it. Here he is. Right. Baruch Hashem. So what's the reason Moshe Rabbeinu has to tell Aharon, Mehaira, go quickly? Why does he have to say that? Mehaira. V'afal pi shebelavach Aharon mizdaras atzes Yisrael. Aharon would have done it anyway, wouldn't he? Im kozer rotze Moshe loim lahoylech meheira lohidia sheikar atzola tave min azrizah shaloi davka kadesh yizdaras yoser. He wanted him to know, listen to the words, sheikar hatzola tave min azrizah shaloi. The fact that you'll do it is good, but the fact that you're going to do it bizrizus is going to make all the difference. By the way, a little quiz for the Olam. Which tefillah do we say daily that we ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu to do it ASAP? We ask him at least 4 times in the same prayer, fast, quickly, as fast as you can. You have a sitter? You have a sitter? Ready for this, gentlemen? You ready? You ready for this? It's not because Chas v'Shalom, present party included. Sometimes we daven and we say things and we don't realize what we say. Pay attention, okay? But maybe Shmona Esrei will be a little bit different after this one. V'lamalshinim al tihi sikva. The people who speak bad about Jews, al tihi sikva. V'chol harisha kirega. What is kirega? In a moment, toived. V'chol oive amcha meheira yikaresu. V'hazedim meheira ta'aker. V'sachnia b'meheira v'yameinu. You say the word b'meheira, skivis shloima, b'meheira 3 times. In one sentence you say the word b'meheira 3 times, and you say kirega. Meir yadata mizeh. The fact that there are those who speak bad about Klal Yisrael and destroy Klal Yisrael, there should be, we daven to HaKadosh Baruch Hu that those type of people that just destroy Klal Yisrael, kirega, rega be'apai, rega is in a moment. Immediately. Was
Helicopter was rega.
In a second. That's what we're asking for. We're asking for because there should be no negativity. No negativity in Klal Yisrael. Mirat schlecht wegen Mensch, wegen Yidden. You speak bad about Yidden, meheira as fast as you can. A maimar musgar. Halavai, we should remember when we daven to remember this meheira. In any case, says the Zera Shimshon, there's something about this meheira that Moshe Rabbeinu told Aharon that is the catalyst to Aaron's success. What is this? What's the sugya? The Zera Shimshon opens up a huge sugya here. Zok der azoi, v'hainu. Lefi, sheha adam hu teva noita lekal v'lekavod. In order to explain this yisoid, the Zera Shimshon delves into the essence of creation of a person. A man, every person, man and women, noite beteva lekal v'lekavod. People have a natural tendency to be fast, and at the same time, they have a natural tendency to be kaved. It's almost like schizophrenic. Vusidus. Do we do things quickly or do we do things sluggishly? Says the Zera Shimshon, it depends on the makeup of the human being and where it's coming from. Listen. On the one hand, a person has been created from the ground, the offer, the dirt. The sluggishness of a person comes from the body part that comes from Adama. Shehi Yisoid offer shehu kaved, which is heavy. There are 4 Yisoidas in everything in the Bria. Afar, Eish, Ruach, and Mayim. And everything in the world, the Rambam writes, is a mizug, is a mixture of these things. A human being has Afar, but he also has Ruach, and he also has Eish. The wind, of course, is light. K'maya Eish, like fire which burns. V'haruach v'harotzain hu davar hatoli b'machshava u'b'moyach. The chelik of a person that is the part that is the, I'm not going to call it light-headed, but the chelik that's light comes from the head, comes from the machshava, where a person, all of us people who have already a little bit gray or white in your beard, you ever notice like your mind tells you go, but your body says something else, right? I was just speaking to somebody now who told me that he used to play baseball. He says it's already 9 years. He's already not. Why? Because he says what his brain says and what his body does is two different. There's a major disconnect. A major disconnect. The emes is, it's not just in older people, it's with everybody. The body is not motivated. The ruach is motivated. The ruach has the chelik harotzain, the chelik hatshuka, the spirit that picks a person up to do something. In the spirit lies zrizus, lies the koyach to do things. V'kishuhu oise davar hepech ritzaynai. When a person does something against his ratzayn, his avarim will hold him back from doing it. Yisnanu avarav lasis hadavar hahu beteva kaved. The body will be sluggish. You have to get up in the morning. Your body's not going to want to get up. Now, it's very interesting. Every single one of us can experience this with ourselves or our children. When we want them to get up for cheder, right, get them out of bed. But if you tell them that there's an airline, we're going on a flight, then they're up at the crack of dawn. They're before that, that's right. So do they have ratzon? Of course they have ratzon. That desire comes from the ruach part. The other part that's sluggish comes from the guf. That's the body. And that's the connection between the two. The emes, they're just opposites of each other. The ruach, which is spirit, which has the energy and the kayach to do things. The eish, which is one of the components of a human being that has fire, there's a burning desire. And on the other end, there's the body. It's all a question of where the rutzin is. Now, I know people that they're so lazy, they miss their flights too. They're consistently lazy. They're lazy across the board. By them, the koyach haguf is so big, it's so strong, and the koyach haratzain of the neshama is so difficult. They're lazy even for the things that they don't want to be lazy for. So at least there's a consistency. But most people will have that ruach, and they'll be able to use it. And by the way, we've mentioned this, and it's kedai to mention again. This machlokes between body and soul, this machlokes between where the body wants one thing and the spirit wants something else, is bechira. This is the nakuda kal, and I want to explain this point very clearly. Tell you over a story from Rabbi Elia Lapian, ich hab's schon immer gesagt, but it's kedai, here it's a good place to mention it again. What does free will mean? What is the definition of free will? If you ask a person on the street, you do what you want, right? You do what you want. Free will is the capacity to do what you don't want. It's just the opposite. You see, and I'll explain. An animal, you can give a dog many different types of macholim. You can serve him this, you can serve him that. The dog, he has free will, right? He decided to go to this food versus that food. Yena free will that a person says, I want to have, you rather have spaghetti, or you want to have steak, or you mood of milchik, that type of bechira chofshi, a behema has that bechira. Animals also decide what they want. That's not the free will of a human being. Reb Elia Lapian writes, the free will of a human being is the capacity to do what he doesn't want to do. And he gave the following story as a mashal. In Germany, before World War I, before Nazi Germany, but there weren't such Jewish lovers back then either. Story was a 12-year-old Christian boy was found murdered 2 weeks before Pesach. And the Goyim let out a blood libel. Jewish people use blood for their matzah, and they killed this boy. The mob was out to lynch the Jewish people, men, women, and children. Rabbi Elia Lapian tells the following story. The police, with the help of police dogs, were able to pick up a scent, and they traced the scent to the house of a well-known anti-Semite. Under cross-examination, the fellow admitted to murdering the child for the purpose of creating a blood libel on the Jewish people. The dogs saved the town. Now, Merav Rabbi Sai, Reb Elia Lapian, this is verbatim, I heard the tape, said, if any one of you would have found this person and you would have saved the town, would you get Gan Eden for that? Would you get Olam Haba for that? Absolutely. You saved hundreds of Yidden, men, women, and children. So are the dogs going to Gan Eden? No. Why not? Because they did it instinctively. And he said, if you want to thank somebody, thank the Rabbeinu Shalom who put the Teva, who created the nature of dogs and who gave us the insight to know how to use it. Do you know what free will means, said Rabbi Elia Lapian? It's not doing what you want to do. It's having the capacity to do what you don't want to do. You're tired and you want to sleep, but you have to get up, whether it's for minyan or if it's because you have to go to work, whatever it is. But there's a part of you that says, I'm not sleeping because I have to get up. You're hungry, you want to eat, but it's not kosher. So I'm not eating, but my body wants to eat it. Let's not deny that. But I have a different rutzon. The rutzon is, name, it's not right. Every time a person struggles, and there's a chelik of the person that says, I want to do this. And then there's another part of the person that says, I don't want to do it. That struggle between inner self of, I rotzeh, lo rotzeh, ken rotzeh, mani meshugeh. Yeah, you're meshugeh. Every person has that schizophrenia of guf and neshama. The guf that says, I want this, and the neshama that says, but I don't want it. Ma'irav Rabbi Sai. When Adam and Chava were told, Miyoim achilcha, on the day that you eat of this tree, you shall die. It sounds like it's a very severe punishment. How can you, Rabbi Nisham, for eating the tree, you're killing them? The teretz is, it's not a punishment. It's a reality. Let me explain. When Hashem Yisbarach told Chava, and told Adam who told Chava, don't eat from the tree, do you think Chava wanted to or didn't want to? Avada in her neshama, in her soul, she didn't want to. Of course she didn't want to, because neshama shenasata b'tahirahi. The neshama wants to do what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. The rutzon of the neshama is the rutzon of Hashem. Elokai neshama shenasata bi. But Vateira Isha, the woman saw, Ki toiva eitz lamachal v'chisai v'hu le'einayim. She saw from an external look. She saw something so attractive that she did what her neshama didn't want her to do. So she separated her physical conscious self from her ruchniistic self. She divided, she made a hafrada, she made a machloikis between her own neshama with her own guf. You know what that is? That's called death. When the neshama leaves the body, that's called death. Said to Rabbi Shalom to Chava and said to Adam, "B'yoyim acholcha, when you eat, you're going to do something that you don't want to do. You're going to use your bechira in the wrong way. Because bechira means the fight, the internal fight that the person has between neshama and guf. If you use your bechira in the wrong way and you do what your neshama doesn't want to do, you created a reality, a metzias, neged yourself. You created a metzias, neged the ratzon HaBorei. You killed yourself. When is he going to die? So a person lives for 1,000 years. B'yoyim acholcha. They didn't die immediately. HaKadosh Baruch had erech hapayim. He translated Yom as being 1,000 years. They continued living, but they were already dying. And if you pay attention to the Tifkite, when Adam and Chava were created in this world, they were supposed to live together forever because the Neshama and the Guf were a unit. They were one. They were one. There was no problem. So they would live v'chai la'olam. You could live forever. What happened? He ate from the Eitz Hadas. He created Misa. Every day that a person lives in this world, you're one step closer to death. You're one step closer to the neshama and the guf separating. That's because of Adam and Chava. However, we who believe that there's tchias hamesim, so you're living in this world for the purpose of fusing together the neshama and the guf. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave us an opportunity to fuse it for Torah and through Torah and mitzvahs. When a person does Torah and mitzvahs, then what he's really doing is he's doing with his guf something that goes beyond the ratzon haguf, because why would the guf want to do any mitzvahs? The guf itself doesn't want to do any mitzvahs. So if you schlep the guf along to do mitzvahs, you're now elevating that guf. You're bringing him up. Says the Zera Shimshon. Let's go weiter. That's what we got up to. When he does things against his ratzon. Like we said, because that's the essence of man. The essence of man is the struggle between body and soul, the struggle of creating oneself. You know where you are? Where's the you? The you isn't in your body. The you isn't in your neshama. The you is the decisions that you make with your body and neshama. It's the decisions that we make between guf. A person looks in the mirror. We have a tendency to say, who are you? Okay, this is what I look like. This is my personality. What you look like, you were born this way. You're born that way. Personality, you're born that way. Neshama, the seichel, you're born that way. Neshama is given to you. So who are you? You know who we are? The choices we make. We are the choices that we make in the balance between neshama, the decisions that we make and follow through. L'toiv u'lemutav, that's who we are. That's our reality. The fact, and that's the bechira of a person, by the way, this is why only human beings can go to Olam Haba. Malachim don't go to Olam Haba. Because their guf is not any different. Their guf is not separated from their neshama. Their oisa devar, they do it right away. There's no malachim in Olam Haba. They're in this world. Just like there are no behemoths in Olam Haba. Because to get to Olam Haba, you have to be in the fight. You have to be in the struggle, and you have to be choosing to incorporate Hashem Yisbarach in your life. Olam Haba is like a capitalistic environment. You know what that means? Wieviel de arbitst, azoifel verdienst. As much as you work, that's as much money as you make. It's not, nobody's stopping you. You want to work hard? Bivakasha, work hard. You don't want to work hard? Then don't work hard. Wieviel mifamukt, how much do you make is depending on how hard you want to work. How much do you want to fuse your neshama with your guf? That's exactly what you get. That's what you get. As hard as you want to work, as much as you want to fight with that chelek haguf, that's what we get. Zuk de Zera Shimshon. V'lechein. Yan v'heim mibli ruach dan mibli rotzen. The body, avar. I'll go back. Yisnanu avar v'lasas tovu beteva koved. The body doesn't want to do a mitzvah. The body doesn't want to do anything for that matter. Everybody knows the body just wants to lay out at the beach, machasontan, right? Give me chepes to trinken. Let me, have people serve me. Then what does the body want? Just relax. The closer you can be to a behemoth, the better the vacation it is. Right? The closer that's the least responsibility. Bad, just eat, to the pool, back, and this, the closer to just no seichel, just goof. But Baruch Hashem, people have a neshama, so at the end of the day, it doesn't satisfy us. We need to do things. The Ratzon inside of us says we need to do things, we need to accomplish, and our neshama wants to accomplish. Yan, hey, mibli ruach, without a spirit, hainu mibli Ratzon. V'lechein, the body itself, yisnanua la'at benachas. The body is always going very slowly. It's to get the body to move. Omnom kasha yaskim harotzim bedovra ahu la'soisai. When a person wants to do something, oz haruach asher bekirboy. Dahainu harotzon yisnaneya b'merutza betiva hakal v'hamehir. Then the neshama wakens up a person, and that's the way he does a mitzvah. And that's what he does. What's the first mitzvah Klal Yisrael was given? HaChodesh hazeh lachem. Right? HaChodesh hazeh lachem shu mitzvah rishonim shenstav al Yisrael. Right? Start with the counting the time. In that mitzvah, the Torah gave us also the mitzvah of matzah. When we left Mitzrayim and we became a nation, v'kocha ochlu oisoi. How are you supposed to eat it? Masnechem chagurim, makelchem b'yadechem. You had to eat it with zrizus. B'chipuzon. You had to schnell. Chapsach schnell. How do you make the matzah? 18 minutes. You can't let it become puzzle. Ushmartem es hamatzos. Watch the matzos, make sure they don't become chumetz. Says Mefarshim, al tikra matzos ela mitzvos. Mitzvah bo liyotcha al tachmitzena. When you have a mitzvah to do, don't let it become chumetz. The emes is every mitzvah that a Jew does is taking the body, fusing it to the neshama in such a way that the body should take on the mitzius of neshama. The body should fuse to neshama so that the guf, hakaved, the heavy, the farshlufene body should be able to become bizrizus and attach itself to the neshama, to become neshumadik. Listen to this. Rabbi Chaim Kanievski, in his opening, in Sefer Ruach Chaim, when he wrote a pirush on Perkei Yavis, on the Mishnah Kol Yisrael Yesham Chelek L'Olam Haba, he says, V'hina Yodua. I want to explain to you what happens when a Jew does a mitzvah. Listen. V'hina Yodua. Be'ez yale al ra'ayanoi ish Yisrael lases mitzvah. When the neshama perks up, and a person says, I want to do a mitzvah. There's a rotzon, the ruach awakens, and the person says, I want to do a mitzvah. Nasa reshima lemala. Something in heaven starts to move. There's a neshama in this world that has a rotzon toiv. Our highest koyach is our rotzon. Our rotzon, our desire. When a person has a rotzon toiv, umisayrer olav or makif. And then, from that rotzon, HaKadosh Baruch Hu beams down a light that is makif. You know what makif means? That surrounds. Makif mehakedusha v'soichech, the lashon like a sukkah. V'soichech and surrounds be'eva rasoi, around his avarim. V'ha'adam batovech. And the man is in middle of this spiritual light, because his rotzain hatov, his good will to do a mitzvah, is now being poyel in the person. V'hu loy le'ezer, and it begins to help him, l'sa'ad l'goimroi, so that allowing him to finish the mitzvah that he's doing. Ki hu yoshev kemoi beganeden mamish mokim kadosh. At the moment a Jew has a ratzon to really do a mitzvah, harei schar mitzvah b'hayam aleka, there's no schar for mitzvah in this world, but I want to be mechadish, says Rabbi Chaim Kanievski, or Talmud of the Vilna Gaon, you're not even in this world when you're doing the mitzvah. You're surrounded with a kedusha dika force field. You're in a force field of kedusha, v'akedusha milabshosoi, like levush. It's mislabesh al yedei gemar hamitzvah yoiser umischazik halavush umeir ha'or. The light that comes from this mitzvah now shines, and then when the mitzvah is finished, mistalek achar kach liganeden v'zeu schoroi la'asid, and that's the schar you're going to get, la'asid lavai. When you're doing a mitzvah in this world, you're doing something which is be'emes not shaykh to this world. You put on tefillin. What does tefillin have to do with this world? And what does tefillin have to do with your body? Absolutely nothing. It's all ruchnius. It's all neshama. It's only neshama. What does Shabbos have to do with this world? Akum sheshavas chayiv misa. A guy is not allowed to keep Shabbos. It's only for the Yidden. A person, any time a Jew is using his guf and is mechaber your guf together to your neshama, you're lifting your body up and you're making your body spiritual. Didn't we learn last week in Zera Shimshon, in Parshas Shlach, that when a person, even when he passes away and the neshama leaves, it never leaves forever. There's still something left, right? In the bracha of Gevurais, Mechayim Mesim. Mekayim emunasai lishene afar. Your Mekayim, your emuna, your trustworthiness, your devotion, your getraikait, lishene afar. What does shene afar mean? Sleeping in the ground. What Adam and Chava did by separating their neshama from the guf, by doing an aveira of not listening to Hashem, we fuse together. Every single time a Yid does a mitzvah, you're putting yourself into the makom of Gan Eden in this world, being mechaber yourself to the Ratzon of the Rabbi Hashem, reconnecting that body. That's why Morav Rabbi say, Ramach Shasa, 248 mitzvahs positive, 365 mitzvahs negative. They equal the form of the human being, asay and loisasay, together. Why? Because each one is to reconnect a part of the body to the neshama, because the body and the neshama needs to be refused together. So this is how you do it with the mitzvahs, and it goes back to the place where it was meant to be together. That's where they're created together, back in Gan Eden. That's the Makam HaChibur. So you're mamish fixing up the Aveira of Adam and Chava, the split. And that's why Kol Yisrael Yesh Chelek La'olam Haba. So now, let's at least answer the kasha. V'lechein, let's go back to the Zera Shimshon. Amar Loi. So Moshe Rabbeinu told Aharon, do you know what you activate when you do something bezrizus? When you're doing something bezrizus, you're activating your neshama. I didn't finish off. Mitzvah boli yotcha. The Zohar HaKadosh says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took matzah and he added a vav sof and he made mitzvos. All the mitzvos are like matzah. Today we have an understanding what that means, because every mitzvah has that koyach of when you act. What is your body saying? La'at la'at, like the Zera Shimshon said. La'at la'at, slowly. Go slow. What does your neshama say? Zrizus. So when your neshama is able to overpower your body and fuse that ratzain into neshama, you're mamish creating a kesher. You're reversing what Adam and Chava had done. You're being mekasher yourself. Schar mitzvah. You know what the schar of the mitzvah is? Mitzvah, it's the fusion you created through that mitzvah. The mitzvah is the schar of the mitzvah. It's not just doing another mitzvah, it's the mitzvah lane, because the mitzvah lane is a fusion between neshama and guf. Yeah, the mitzvah, you put together your neshama and guf, nochamo, with every mitzvah, nochamo, together in every second that you're doing it. You're not in this world, you're over there. When Aharon HaKohen was told, Moshe Rabbeinu said, don't go just do this. Use your zrizus. Kaihanim zrizim heim. What is this zrizus? Take a look what he says. Holach b'meheira b'zrizus ubertzoincha hatoiv. With your rotzon hoylach sham hakteiris hazeh shischapra aleihem. Bevadai. Share Aaron hoyo yoreh. Inside Aharon there was a tremendous Yerushalayim. The chsiv kisif seikon yishmu das ubrisi. It brings down the psukim hoysei ito echaim v'ashalom ve'etlon loy moira v'yiraini. The chsiv ritzoin yireyav yaseh. A kohen, and specifically Aaron HaKohen, who had to serve in the Beis HaMikdash, was full of Yerushalayim, full of Yiras Hashem. That's where his rotzen was, and that's where. So when you're going to do this mitzvah of going to save Klal Yisrael, and you do it, Bezriza says the Zera Shimshon, you will activate that inner koyach within you of Yiras Hashem. And then what happens? If you're a Yereyav, you say in Ashrei, Ritzoin Yereyav Yaseh. Ve'es Shavasam Yishma V'yoshiyem. Says the Zera Shimshon, Imkein Teilach Sham Bezrizis Yanoida Sheritzoincha Lahatzah Yisrael Bevadai Tatzi Lein. When a Yid does a mitzvah with heart and soul, when he does it with his neshama, then he's fusing together his guf to the neshama. He's mamish being mechaya his body. Last week, we'll finish with this. Last week we said, we finished off with the Maharal. What is the special zchus of saying Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba B'chol Koichai? The Olam still remembers from last week. What's that? Wipes out 70 years. That's right, because 70 years is the fusion of the body and the soul. 70 years is when they separate. It's supposed to separate. When a person says B'chol Koichai, the Maharal says it's not about saying it out loud. It's saying with all your soul. Did anybody try it this week? When you say Amen Yehei Kol Koichai, doesn't mean loud. Kol Koichai means all of your might, all of your neshama. Zug Amen Yehei Shmei, may the name of Hashem, Rabbah, may become great, or Shmei Rabbah, the great name. Two different pshatim and tosfos. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, may it be blessed. What you're doing, says the Maharal, is you're mamish fusing your body to your soul. You're with the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu by glorifying Hashem's name. When a person does that, it has the koyach, and you do it with your strength. You have the koyach of fusing your body and your soul in a positive way. 70 years of negativity is wiped out with Amen Yehei Shmei Rabbah. Why? Because 70 years is the guf without living with the neshama. It's how much was allocated when it needs to expire. Zeh shivim shana, and then it's separate. This is an everlasting connection through the name of the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu told Aharon HaKohen. He told Aharon HaKohen, you are a Kohen, you have within you a koyach of Zrizis, Kaihanim Zrizim heim. But truth be told, Gans Klal Yisrael, Va'amech Kulam Tzadikim, we're known as Mamleches Kaihanim. We're a nation of Kaihanim. We have Zrizus. It's in our neshama. What do you use it for? So Hatzolah members use it for Hatzolah, to save Yidden. Talmidei Chachamim, Zrizim, Anu Rotzim, Veheim Rotzim. We run and they run. We run for Olam Haba because our neshama understands what it is that's really the Ratzon of Hashem. Should be Zoicha be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach, every single one. Ritzoineinu lasais ritzoinecha. Hashem Yisbarach, we always say it's our Ratzon to do your Ratzon. We want what you want, which is what our neshama wants. The Bunim should help us that every person should be mekayim the Ratzon of Hashem. Amen.